afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody out there is safe and warm today, especially warm. Most of us stay fairly safe, I think. If you stay at home, you do. Especially when you got weather like we got out here now. A few days ago, 3 days ago, it started raining. And as the temperature dropped, it started snowing. And what was underneath froze, so got a little sheet of ice with about 3 inches of snow on it out here in my yard anyway. It's kind of kept everybody in the house. The roads around here are just nasty still. Nothing much you can do about it. I mean, that's just the way it is, right? When you live where it doesn't snow like this, or you get a whole lot of ice all the time, they usually don't have all the equipment they need. It's going to be even more special this afternoon, sometime about 3 o'clock, give or take. It's supposed to start snowing again and snow most of the night tonight. High temperature today about 26, and last thing I saw for tomorrow morning was 5 degrees Fahrenheit. So it being cool, I'll be here in the house in Camping Corner. I'm going to get out Wednesday or Thursday. I'm going to make a trip out and go over to the hideout. Should be still plenty of snow on the ground over there. I'm not going to do a camp out, but I want everybody to see how the woods looks over there, covered up in white stuff. Today, I got a tag from Survival Metal Man on my cook set, and I want to go back a little bit to where I started out and bring you guys back through what I'm using now practically every time I go out. A bit of a change. So stick around, let's get to looking at this here cook kit. Before I get the cook kit out, I want to kind of explain some things to you guys. A lot of you guys that I watch your videos all the time, follow and comment, I haven't been up to date on you guys for a couple of different reasons. My internet has been so screwy, I have no idea. We're on the second lay in the ground now. They just couldn't get things figured out, so maybe this one will work. Right now I don't have any phone service, but that's the way it goes. Speaking of phones, I also had a camera die on me. As you see, this is a LG G4. This is the phone that I was using for a camera, and the other day when it got really cold out, it didn't want to work to start with, and by the time the day was over with, it gave completely out. I cannot get the camera to come on whatsoever. So I'm back on the old Sanyo, which is a good old camera. It just doesn't have the definition that this one does. But soon enough, maybe here, I'll get me a new camera. Now let's look at the mess kit. When I first set out to go camping again, after I got to where I could get up, get around, and not worried about being by myself too much after the bike crash, I kind of planned on more than just me being there. That didn't work out so good. I had several people say they would like to go camping with me, but you know, hard to get them out of the house sometimes. You guys probably know exactly how that is. So I started out in mind with 2, 3 people, you know. So one of my first purchases was the Coleman skillet, locking handle. $10. Everything you put in it sticks. It's supposed to have a Teflon type coating on it. Everything sticks to it. It's been over a year since I actually used this piece, and if you notice there, I took a lid off of it. I just happen to have a stainless steel pot here that the lid fits right on the skillet. Like I said, I don't like it. At this point in time, to me, it was a waste of $10. I wouldn't recommend that skillet to anybody. Coleman 9-inch, nah. You're better off with something a little more expensive that maybe doesn't have a folding handle, or if you've got something that you really like, that everything that you cook doesn't stick to it, I'd say use that. Also kind of went inexpensive on the plates at the time. You see this one's got a burn where I set it in the fire. Like 80 cents, I think. 88 cents, something like that. And yeah, I have a larger skillet. This is not a particular brand name skillet of any kind, but it works really good. The Teflon on it got scarred up to the point the old lady didn't want to use it. She wanted something a little different, so I bought her a new one, just a little bit bigger than this one. And I took this one for camping gear. Now, if I'm going with 2 or 3 other guys, yeah, we're going to have this. By myself, just don't need it. That's not all that heavy, pound or so. And car camping, you're not worried about that anyway, right? I do have a couple of pieces of cast iron. I have one 8-inch cast iron skillet. You guys all know what those look like. Brother Smoke got me this. I had to moniker it a little bit. I haven't broke it in yet. I think it's like a fajita skillet. Cast iron. And it's seasoned. But I think I'll probably do it again before I start using it on a regular basis. Comes with a nice little wooden thing for it there. It's Old Mountain. And I'm yet to break it in. That's coming up here before too much longer. Like I say, it's just a little bit much for me to carry when it's just going to be me. It is a really nice little set. Cozy comes with. Very handy. And I will be using it before long. That's really what I started out with, besides one little saucepan. I didn't have much, didn't think I needed much. I wound up with the 4-piece Ozark Trail. That's not 4-piece, I'm sorry. 4 settings, 4 people. Plates, 4 cups, and silverware for 4. This is about the only cup I ever use, and you know, I got to where I didn't even carry it anymore. It's nice, excuse me, nice to have extra stuff sitting around the house. I can't talk. And I also had this little stainless measuring cup, 1 cup, and it, I mean, it's okay. But there again, by myself, don't really need it. So it stays here at the house. Kind of on to what I'm using now. You can see these little containers sitting here, just small. 1 egg will pretty much fit in that. But I have gotten away from carrying eggs to the woods with me as a whole. These little water bottles are great. That will hold 4 eggs, a little milk, some salt and pepper. Pour it out of the bottle, ready to go. No need in carrying a whole lot of stuff, right? Also, the outdoor products, Nalgene type bottle. I usually carry this 1 liter or something similar. I have several of these. And I talked about these before. There's some kind of Powerade drink, 88 cents. Really sturdy bottle for 88 cents and a drink to go with it. Since I was already on the skillets, over time I went down to this little jewel here, which is a T-fal skillet. It also came with a set that bigger one did. And I'm going to say this here little skillet's been being used now for right at 20 years. Once again, it's got some scratching in it. It doesn't stick bad. I don't have any issues with it at all like I did the Coleman. But the old lady wanted a new one, so we got a new T-fal. It's got the little griddle thing on the bottom of it. Really nice skillet. But you guys have seen me stick this in the fire way more than one time. It's the way I prefer to cook when I'm out. I just like cooking on an open fire. There's no real big challenge to it. To me, it makes the food taste a little better, but I'm going to have to stop here and get a drink of water. This little skillet, very handy. 8-inch? No, 6-inch. Yeah, I think that's about a 6-inch skillet, give or take. Yeah. But very light. Have no idea exactly how much it weighs. Doesn't take up much room in the bag either. This is my primary go-to for anything skillet cooked. And I just happen to have an old CP bag. Some of you mechanics out there will maybe recognize something this size here. I bought an impact gun and it came in this bag. The skillet fits in there really well. Now, something that a lot of us have, and I think it's a good deal. It was a good deal for me at 12 bucks. And I believe Metal Man said that he found his in the clearance aisle for like 6-7 bucks. Fantastic deal there too. I don't use the all 3 pieces. This is the Ozark Trail 3-piece cook kit. Starts off with, in the bag actually, nice little carry bag there, 2-quart pot. It's got the folding handles on it, which I have already extracted the rubber stuff on there that really doesn't do anything but melt and stick to your hand at some point in time. And if I'm going for a few days, I might carry this, because in just a moment you'll see the other use for it. Right now it's just kind of crammed full of stuff. I always carry extra napkins, paper towels, piece of folded up tin foil. That's actually about 2 square feet. And in this pot, generally, you have a 1.5 quart pot that goes in here. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Also, this is other cook gear. Let me take a break here just a minute. Give me a bottle of water. Ooh. These little bottles are also handy for refilling, taking with you on short walks and stuff. If you don't want to pack a whole lot of water, put a couple of these in your bag. Works out good. Throat feels better. Now, let's talk again. The 2-quart pot handles carrying bag. This one, I found this piece out of an old grease strainer. You can probably see the holes there. Let me get the light right. I kind of deformed it just a little bit so that when you put it down in this pot, it stays put. You could set something under it if you were going to be doing something outrageous. This pot here I have not cooked cornbread in yet. That's coming up. But you guys have seen me do biscuits in it. It does a really good job with biscuits. You have to, well, I did. I don't know whether you exactly have to or not, but just a little bit of olive oil on this. And then I flip the biscuits like 4 times in 20 minutes. Perfection done. Very good. And when all's said and done, you push that down in the bottom and it kind of goes out away in storage. And I also use some other Ozark Trail stuff here too. This bag, as you've seen, came out of this pot. Let me set that out of the way. And this bag here is what I carry 9 times out of 10. This is just about all I carry for cooking. Do have one of these. It's the one that's left out of the 2-pack that you can get. There again, light my fire. You need to do a little bit better job on quality control. That one broke the second time I used it. I've been careful with the other one, and thanks to Franny and Kurt, I have a nice set of stainless steel knife, fork, and spoon. In here, the rest of the stuff in there is breakfast stuff. Oatmeal, cereal bars. I found this little aluminum cup. I have no idea if it was with a set at some point in time or not. It was headed towards the garbage can and I snatched it up, polished it up. It was being used for an ashtray. It's exactly 1 cup. And this is the 18-ounce Ozark Trail folding handles. There again, I really suggest just cutting the rubber off of it just as soon as you get it, because all it's going to do is be a mess in your hand at some point in time. they fit together quite well, and you never know when you're going to need a little pan for something. One of these days I'm going to fix breakfast out of this. You guys stick around, you'll see that. On to the 18 ounce cup. This is the Ozark Trail, and being a little bit of a tinker, and the fact that I was running my own paint shop, a 1 quart paint can lid just fits the Ozark Trails cup, the 18 ounce cup. And if you get just a little bit more ingenuity to you, you take a piece of coat hanger and make you a bail for it. It is a good idea if you like hanging pots. I generally don't use a hanging pot, so if you wanted to, it's easy enough to drill holes. Well, it's not exactly easy. This is pretty decent stainless. But to drill a couple of holes in there and put you a bail for hanging this over the fire, that also works really, really good. The paint can lid just worked out too good. In here, there again, always keep a stash of napkins to clean up with. If you don't have enough water out in the woods sometimes, that's easy enough. But decent little cup, and you can see she's well worn. Inside, another bit of aluminum foil. This folds out to about 8 inches tall, 10 inches tall maybe. Nice little windbreak. Wrapped around the biofuel can. It also works with the sterno fuel too. Just a little bit of, I'm not sure what you call this, wire mesh. It's called different things. It's kind of an expanded metal type thing. I cut to the right length. Sits on there pretty good, and if you got the can nice and stable, I haven't had any issues yet with this pot sitting up there. Pretty decent. And your cooking stuff all goes back in the pot. Stows away nicely. I do keep it in this dry bag just to keep that off the rest of my camping gear. Because it doesn't always, it's never going to be clean again like it was, but that's okay too. I didn't think too long and hard about putting this part together. This just kind of seemed to fall in place. You need a little windscreen of some sort. And, you know, if you think about things for a few minutes, sometimes a little light comes on and it just works out too good. Well, can't close it full of napkins. Anyway, this is my primary. I'm not going to go on there all the way. There it goes. This is my primary stuff along with a little cup. Works out great in just about any situation. And I have this too. This is something, well, it's not biomedical anymore, but this is what I carry my stoves in. Some of you guys may have seen the Coke can apparatus that I use for alcohol. Alcohol, not water, same. For me it is anyway. This one I had a little bit bigger cage, a little taller cage, and I just flatten it out. It comes back out pretty good. Rounds out, sits right around the can. Let me show you a little bit. Can sits in the bottom of it like that. Well, if you guys could see it. There we go. And it gives you just about the right height to a pot. There again, this type stuff sits right on it quite well. You know, for the price of a couple of Coke cans and a little bit of alcohol, you really can't beat that rascal. Doesn't take up any room, and it like weighs next to nothing at all. But it works really good. You can also kind of use that for a tent heater if you wanted to. This next piece doesn't come out of here real well sometimes. But you guys seen this a couple of videos back. I actually gave it a try and it worked out real well. I'm not going to fold it up or unfold it. Sterno stove, you guys have all seen them. Get them for $6, $7, $8 sometimes. Comes with a can of fuel. And I used it for a twig stove. Now it does work really good holding the sterno, and I have actually used this in there. It puts your fire just a little bit far away from your pot when you got this all together, but it still heats up nice. It does a fine job of holding fire. You use this, you really don't need a windbreak. As you can see, it stands about 6 inches tall, a little more. Very useful piece of kit, guys, for very little money. And you guys will see more of this in my upcoming videos. I'm going to make this a full-time carry. Because it's not very heavy either. I'm going to say, you know, 5, 6 ounces, maybe 7 ounces. Not really much at all. And if you're not going very far, car camping, of course, car camping, you probably take your grill with you, right? Now, something I decided to do, this is my food bag. And it's just as heavy as it normally is. But I realized something that I don't always need to or want to carry this 2-quart pot. As you can see, it's been in the fire a few times. Mostly cooking biscuits. Let me empty some of this stuff out. Like I said, it's got my... Well, actually, I've just been cramming stuff in here, getting ready for a camp just as soon as I can pull one off. But I decided to start using inside this dry bag. I forget what the liter is on this. 4 liter? Maybe? Excuse me again. The other Ozark Trails 1.5 quart. Holding handles. Been in the fire a time or two itself. This is a good bean pot for me. And cooking a pot of chili works really good. If you got 2 people, you can boil plenty of water for your coffee or your hot cocoa for us old boys. Right now, I've just kind of got it stuffed full of breakfast. Oatmeal, honey. Well, some of us like baked beans for breakfast. I have had more than one. There's my nice little stainless knife, spoon, and fork kit. Thank you, Franny. I don't leave home without this. You will see me using this piece quite a bit. You know, stirring stuff, not bad. But there again, I'm just waiting for it to break. So this has been really, really nice. Oh, look at there. Even got some cocoa. Now in this one here, a couple other things. Salt, pepper, divvied up baggie. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that or not. Works real well. I've been using that same baggie now for over 2 years. Just keep putting a little more salt and pepper in it. And if you have any kind of ingenuity at all, I mean, you just fold it. And I learned to lay this in a book with just a little bit sticking out, run your lighter across it, and it seals it. If you wanted to, you could make a 3rd slot in there and carry, well, even a 4th slot. You could divvy those 2 in half, salt, pepper, sugar, and some coffee in one baggie. Salt and pepper is good for me. And I have a knife in here that I've had for over 20 years. Swiss Army officer. Well, I don't think it's Army officer, but officer's knife. It's been real handy. This thing has minty miles on it hanging on my side. But it has come to a resting place now in my mess kit. I've got a couple other things here. Let me get them out and show you guys real quick. Well, you saw my little 2-quart oven. This is the first one I made. You see, it's been in the fire a time or two also. There again, car camping. Don't really care about the weight. And the lid fit the skillet. and this pot. Worked out really good. I've kind of done the same thing in this one that I've done in the smaller one. Except I used one of those 88-cent pie plates. Kind of deformed the edges just a little bit so that it goes in and has a tendency to stay where you put it. It's down a couple of inches from the top, generally where that one's at. I've used this on the wood stove, cooking cornbread and biscuits, and I've used it in the fire cooking cornbread and biscuits. Works really good, but just a little too much for your backpack. Now I said I had some more cast iron. I don't carry this one very often. It doesn't have a whole lot of use on the trail. One egg, over easy. Now, this is from Mammoth Cave, Kentucky. Yeah, it's just a little play skillet. It is cast iron. Yeah, you could probably cook in it, but we won't. But the one that I do use is this one here. I have no idea what brand it is. It has been around practically all my life. My mother used this, and the old lady used it. The only markings it has on it anywhere is probably can't see it. It has a number 3 stamped in it here. Someone out there might know. I'm not into cast iron. Someone might accidentally know who the manufacturer that was. Fantastic little skillet. There again, kind of heavy. And when I'm by myself, not a whole lot of difference. And less than half the weight in this one. But it is a good little skillet. I do like cast iron. I don't have trouble with anything sticking in this one either. It's been cooked on for so many years. You couldn't unseason that one, I don't think, for a while. But very good to have. And I have one more piece of cast iron that I want to show you guys. This again also has been around all my life, and if I'm not mistaken, it belonged to my grandfather on my dad's side. Yeah, what do you think about that? Huh? The old 3-legged pot. I believe this is 5 quart, 6 quart to the top, maybe. But this thing here has set in the fire and cooked catfish and hush puppies. The last thing that was fixed in this particular pot was some Kentucky Lake catfish and some homemade hush puppies. Fine feast for everybody concerned. I haven't used it. It is not cracked. And I really just don't want to carry it around because it is heavy. Very heavy. Well, what you folks think? It all works for me quite well. Especially this piece here, 18 ounce with the lid and the small cup. So I'll use that before long. I don't need a whole lot out there by myself most of the time, and especially this kind of weather, you ain't gonna find nobody. Well, you could, I suppose, but I ain't found nobody that wants to go out there and hang out with me when it gets this cold. I can't say it. I blame some of them. Several of my buddies, they work outside. And when they get a chance to come in and sit down somewhere where it is warm, they come in and stay where it's warm. You ain't dragging them out to the woods to spend the night. I like it. Well, I kind of explained my internet issues and my camera issues as of late. I'll still be using this one here. Like I say, it doesn't have a bad picture. It's just not as good a camera as what was on that phone. But that's okay. Hope you guys don't mind. And I hope you like getting a look at my cookware. Like I said, it works for me. And whatever works for you works good. That's all that matters. I'm not going to push any of that stuff. You guys have got the same opportunities I do. There's not many of us out there rich enough just to go buy these $300-400 cook sets, which I think is a little bit silly anyway. Canterbury he's got a nice set of stuff out if you need that line of stuff like the kettles and the pots. I suppose if you're cooking on a constant basis for 3 or 4 people, 2 at least, you know, it would be good to have. But being out there by myself, kind of just don't need it, you know. Well, thanks a lot for looking in, guys. I'll be catching up with the videos here just as soon as I can. And be back out in the woods sometime later on this week, Wednesday, Thursday time period. And do a little video. And it's not going to be long. I'm going to be back out there. I've got something else brewing. I'm going to move back to the ground for one more camp here while the weather's still cold, and then I'll be back in the hammock after that. But hope you guys come along with me when that time comes. So, thanks again, everybody. Appreciate you watching. Till next time, just waiting for the next big adventure.